Thank you for joining us. We'll start momentarily. Hello, everybody. Joshua Breitbart. I'm Senior Vice President for Connect All at Empire State Development. I have the great privilege of leading the New York State Broadband Office. Thank you for joining us today to review the draft final proposal from the Connect All Deployment Program and the kickoff to the public comment period, which we launched yesterday. Next slide. So this session is being recorded. We will send the recording and the slides out to all the participants, and we'll post them to our website. As we go through, we will add links and announcements in the meeting chat, as well as including them in the email. We will not be answering questions live, but you can send them by email, or you can submit them during the chat using the Q&A function in the Zoom below. And I want to thank the team for supporting the Zoom process here. Next slide, please. If you are just becoming familiar with the Connect All program, Connect All is Governor Hochul's initiative to transform New York's digital infrastructure, build a robust broadband marketplace, bring affordable, reliable, high-speed internet service to all New Yorkers. We have a range of signature programs. The program we're focused on today is the Connect All Deployment Program. The deployment program is focused specifically on addressing the unserved and underserved locations that have essentially no broadband option or no terrestrial broadband option anywhere in New York State. And that is principally supported by funding from the Broadband Equity Access and Deployment Program, part of the Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act, which through that statute and the formula in that statute allocated $664.6 million to the state of New York. And again, the program addresses those unserved and underserved locations, specifically identified on the federal map and through a process laid out in the program rules. Go to the next slide. So through those program rules, and with the participation of many of you and hundreds of other stakeholders across the state, we have reviewed individually over 200,000 locations in the state to confirm which ones are the ones that are eligible in this program. So over 46,000 of those locations that we reviewed, we identified are part of a separate grant agreement. So they may not have service now, but they will get service under a separate grant award from a federal, state, meaning our office, or county or local grant program. Over 77,000 locations we've been able to determine are already served. And that's because of our very strong partnership with internet service providers who provided evidence that we were able to review and match, again, to each one of those 77,372 locations to determine that they already have service. Over 24,000 locations supported in many cases with documentation from our county and local government partners, we were able to determine are not actually serviceable locations, either not really a structure or they get service not from the mass market retail service market. And that allowed us to focus on approximately 54,000 locations that are allocated and addressed by this program and identified in the final proposal. There are 99 locations that are not included in the proposal. We continue to look at those to, because we believe those will be able to be sorted into some of these other categories. Either they should not be eligible or they can be included in an award. So we are focused on moving from effectively 100% to definitively 100% of locations that have been resolved. And thank you again for everyone who has participated in this process. Just the collective effort and diligence has really allowed us to focus on the best results from the program. Next slide, please. I would say that effort also saved a significant amount of money because we are able to be as focused as we are. Throughout this process, we've been following the requirements and timeline in the federal program as laid out by the National Telecommunications and Information Administration, NTIA, Division of Department of Commerce, which oversees this program. So from the very beginning, in the notice of funding opportunity and the rules established through that, the requirements for planning documents, developing an initial proposal, issuing, going through those locations and reviewing through a public challenge process, reviewing evidence, selecting, going through an application process all the way through to 2025, where there's a restructuring of the program. And we took the next steps in accordance with the restructured program to the point where we are today, which is the launch of this public comment period, where you can now review the results of this process and submit a comment on the final proposal. Next slide. So again, the key thing here is that you can now go to the Connect All website and review the final proposal, and you can submit submit a comment on the final proposal. Anyone can participate in this. So the link that's in the chat, anyone can go to that link and submit a comment. Certainly many interested stakeholders. The public comment is open until September 24th, specifically 3:59 p.m. September 24th. So it's a little bit more than precisely 7 days, but we'll have to get to work at 4 o'clock on the dot at September 4th, reviewing all these comments. And again, as you go through the comment, you'll see you can comment on specific sections. And so, please, we encourage you to go through that process. Next slide. Of course, first, you will want to review the final proposal, and I'll give you just a brief overview of what you'll see in the final proposal document. First of all, a picture from some of the work we're already doing with our partners across the state. So you'll see it includes an overview of the grantee selection process, how we went through to determine the results, and again, how we followed consistently the requirements of the restructuring BEAD policy notice that NTIA issued, and implemented the program consistent with those rules to focus on cost as the primary focus, and to review the requirements consistent with the statutory definition of what is a priority project, without regard to the specific technologies that were included in the proposal. It includes details on all the provisional awards, and I'll give some overview on that. It also covers other aspects of the program implementation, such as grantee compliance and oversight, environmental reviews, other associated initiatives that support this program. Next slide. So as I said, there's overviews of the subgrantee selection process, or the process to identify these provisional awardees that you will find there. So there were 4 rounds of applications beginning in December of 2024, all the way through to the round that we recently reviewed with applications beginning from in July of this year. All of the applications that we received were incorporated into that final round and reviewed according to the same criteria, the same scoring criteria and requirements that was in that the NTIA policy notice. So everything was scored competitively. There were 26 applicants that participated in the pre-qualification process, 13 that submitted applications for funding. In total, we reviewed 863 proposals to address 224 project areas. Those project areas are how we grouped the eligible locations. There's approximately 54,000 eligible locations. And again, we reviewed all of those 863 proposals to arrive at the results that you see in the final proposal. Next slide. So, so these are provisional results because they have not yet been approved by NTIA. The final proposal is in draft form. It may change subject to the comments that we receive in the public comment period. It may also change based on comments and additional requirements or feedback that we get in a curing process once we submit to NTIA. Provisionally, the amount of grant funding to be awarded is 391 million, approximately, with about 245 million of matching funds in total across the 11 provisional awardees. As I said, it includes about 54,000 provisionally awarded locations, and that divides, in terms of technology, a well-balanced mix of about 30% of locations with fiber being served with fiber, 44% with fixed wireless, and 25.2% that are to be addressed according to the provisional results through low Earth orbit satellite. And you can see here, obviously these dots are not to scale, but it does give you a sense of the general geographic distribution of the technology types. Some notes to consider is that some things about New York specifically, if you've looked at this in other states. One is only the unserved and underserved locations are included in our grant awards. So the funding is only to serve those locations. No served locations are to be included in any of these awards. In addition, for the infrastructure deployment grants, those are actually done on a reimbursement basis for the costs. So while the grant amount is fixed, they actually will have to submit costs. So any one of these projects, we would be monitoring based on how it's actually implemented. And then for satellite projects, the way that we intend to address those is those are focused on subscription milestones. Next slide. Here you see the provisional results by awardee. So you can see the participants, the type of technology that they are using in their provisional projects. You see in a couple instances, 2 of the provisional awardees have both fiber and fixed wireless projects. And then you can see the award amount and the matching funds for each of these 11 provisional awardees. If you go on our website, you'll be able to see a breakdown by county and a separate breakdown for tribal reservation lands. So you can get more granular information, and of course, you can look in the final proposal. Again, the key thing to keep in mind is that these are provisional. So NTIA, as they go through the results, could have curing requirements, so these are subject to change. So whatever your feeling is about these results, this is a good opportunity for you to submit your comment through the public comment process. And again, we will review all those comments, incorporate them into the final proposal as appropriate before we submit them. So next slide. So that's the next steps. So as we go through the public comment period between now and September 24th, encourage everybody to participate. Our deadline to submit the final proposal to NTIA is September 25th. As I said, 4 o'clock on the 24th. We will get to work incorporating those comments and beginning the final process to submit this draft final proposal to NTIA. We are continuing, as I said, to go through those 99 locations to try and affirm their status. After we submit the final proposal, there's a period of time where NTIA presents curing information. And as I said, the final proposal is subject to change. It's going through that process. We also will continue to engage with these awardees to identify opportunities to refine the project, particularly to find cost efficiencies where awardees maybe have gotten multiple awards now, if possible. And then we are hopeful that there will be approval by the end of the calendar year. That's obviously just what's anticipated. And then we can move to finalizing awards. We'll have authorization once the final proposal is approved. That will allow us to begin to implement these grant funds under our allocation. And then at a later point is when we anticipate NTI will provide guidance on the under the current proposal is the $273.5 million that remains from New York's BEAD funding allocation that is available for use for other statutory purposes other than addressing the unserved and underserved. That's subject to further to forthcoming NTIA guidance, so that will happen at a later stage. Right now, we are very much focused on this public comment period. I encourage everybody to review the final proposal. Any thoughts you have on it, please share through the public comment process. Your participation, the participation of stakeholders across the state, has been the absolute lifeblood of this program from the beginning through every step of the process. And that is certainly true at this point, and we greatly appreciate your time throughout the process and your attention, as well as for participating in this webinar today. And we look forward to reviewing your comments. If you do have any questions, again, we'll keep this open for a moment to see if we can answer any questions here. Otherwise, again, look to the website and we can share updates for any Q&As that we receive. And again, if you have questions after we close this out, please use the Connect All deployment at esd.ny.gov email address. Thank you again for your time.